3rd District at large.
Yeah, I'm actually extremely disappointed in you guys for bringing this before the council. It's a reason Missouri doesn't have a texting while driving law. Because when we talk about discretion in law enforcement and the ability to pull somebody over, we get stats that we see the Attorney General constantly calculate every year. So when we talk about the potential, and let me start back, let me dial back, when we talk about prima facie, and I probably said it wrong, that's based on first impression. That means the first impression overrides anything unless somebody has hard facts. I have to have a hard fact that I wasn't looking in the mirror longer than 10 seconds. I have to have a hard fact that I wasn't looking at a cell phone. It's impossible to have a hard fact unless I'm videotaping myself in the car. Going to the Missouri Attorney General's numbers, and again, the reason why we don't have a state law against texting while driving, because we see that more than 91% of blacks are likely to be stopped. This is not my opinion. This is the Attorney General's opinion. It actually went up from 2017 when 85% of black individuals were likely to be pulled over, which corresponds with 596 law enforcement agencies. Ours is one of the agencies that was wrapped up in this tally. So what is Kansas City's percentage of pulling over black population? Jackson County's percentage is 53%. And this is what y'all bring to the council? A bill that's going to allow people to be discriminated against when they just drive down the street. And I'll read the text so everybody understands. It shall be prima facie evidence that a vehicle operator is not exercising the highest degree of care if the operator or removed vehicle engages in any conduct that causes such operator's vision or attention to be obstructed, diminished, or directed elsewhere from the path of travel or attention of the vehicle, including but not limited to the following: by using a mirror to engage in grooming. That is so subjective for an attorney and somebody that teaches the law. You know that is too subjective to have an ordinance when we talk about legal enforcement for driving while distracted. Reading anything located in the vehicle other than the operation information displayed on vehicle gauges or equipment. How can that be proven? How can I prove that I did not look at any gauges when the low bar of evidence is prima facie, which again is what? Based on first impression, accepted or as correct until proven otherwise. How can I prove that? In this country, we have a law that you're innocent and proven guilty, but this ordinance actually states you're guilty until you can prove that you're innocent for not driving while distracted. And Missouri is made up of Republicans, and this is one of the bills that I actually agree with the Republicans wholeheartedly on, because in America we have due process. This takes away somebody's due process. Why does it take away their due process? Because they have to prove their innocence, which is not the standard of the law. This changes the standard of the law. This lowers the standard of the law. And even if we was to tally traffic fatalities and traffic stops, I don't think our numbers would justify callously taking away the rights of the citizens of this city. So I ask my colleagues to use common sense on this ordinance and vote it down. If we have a problem with distracted driving, we can deal with that. Law enforcement could deal with that. A few years ago, we took away the ability for law enforcement to do sobriety checks. Why did we do that at the state? Did we take away the ability because we want people to drive around drinking and driving? No. We did it because it infringes upon due process. That's why we took it, and that's why we allow law enforcement to do saturation patrols. And it's the same thing they can do when you have a distracted driver. We have rules and regulations when it comes to driving, swerving, varying over the line, etc., that allows them to pull over an individual if they're distracted, that preserves due process. And again, for this bill to be sponsored, and it's coming from you, Mr. Mayor, it hurts. Because as a black American, I understand how easy it is to get pulled over. I understand how easy it is for me to have my rights violated. As an elected official, when I don't wear my suits, more often than not, I get approached like I'm doing something illegal because I happen to like to hang around people on Prospect. This right here does not make our city more safe, This will not create a bridge between law enforcement and the community that so desperately needs to have a bridge between law enforcement to lower organically murders and violent incidents. This would do nothing but create more hysteria. In my opinion, it would definitely probably create a further divide, because if we're already pulling people over 50% with justifiable reasons, I can only imagine
Thank you. And
what would happen
that's our time,
with
Councilman.
non-justifiable means or prima facie reality.